Hello, my name is Paris Rضایی and welcome to my kitchen here in Southern California. Today in this session I'm going to go over a very famous and delicious recipe of Iran called قرابیه. قرابیه is a very delicious and old recipe from the city of Tabriz. There are different versions. You can make it with pistachio powder, with walnut powder, or with almond powder. In this session today, I'm going to show you how you can make it with almond powder. There are so very few ingredients in this very flavorful and rich recipe. It's almond meal or almond powder, it's sugar powder or powder sugar, and also egg white. And then we need a little bit of a pistachio or walnut to garnish the top. The process of making this recipe is also very simple. You need a food processor, and then we are going to mix all three ingredients at the same time together, and then once everything is mixed, we are going to pipe it in a sheet tray, and then we pop it in the oven, and that's it, and it's ready. But like all of my recipe, I have my own little twist to this. So I'm going to show you how I can make it even more delicious, adding a little bit of more of a dark chocolate to it. Originally, what you need to do is you need to make a very thin batter, and then you spoon it or you pipe it in a half sheet, as I said. My version is like I make the batter a little bit thicker, that when I pipe it, the batter won't spread once it goes to the oven, and it kind of holds its shape and it will become more like a French macaron. As a matter of fact, it has the exact same ingredients with the French macaron. It's just like the method is different, so therefore the result and outcome is different. But to give you a good sense, it's exactly almond powder, egg white, and a powdered sugar, same ingredient as the French macaron. Okay, and then this is how we're gonna start. In a food processor, and I have a very old food processor, I love it. It's a little bit broken, but it's still working perfectly. We are going to add 3 cups of almond meal. You can use almond meal, almond powder, blanched, or just the whole grinded almond. They all work perfectly. I'm using a half cup, so and this is the trick. So as I said, you need 3 cups of almond powder, but I'm just going to add 2.5 at the beginning. And then I need more if I think I need more. And then only 1 cup of powdered sugar. And use powdered sugar and not just a granulated sugar, because it will make a difference. And then for this, I am going to add 3 egg whites. And you can use and save here. Save the yolk for later. You can make a very nice brulee with that. 2 and 3. Depends on the size of the egg that you are using. You may end up getting a thinner or a thicker batter. It really doesn't really matter. But what you need to do is you need to keep that whole thing in a more of a towards of like a thicker batter, or it will spread a lot, and still it will be very delicious. But to get that exact look that I'm trying to get, you need to make the batter a little bit of a thicker, on a thicker side. And that's it. Believe it or not, that's all you need. Let the machine run till everything gets totally mixed and nice. And this is what you need to get. A very thick yet completely mixed batter. And all we need to do right now is just like we need to pipe it. So as you can see, I only used 2.5 cups, and it was totally perfect. because of the size of my eggs. I used large eggs, so have 3 cups of the almond milk handy, but you only need to use 2.5 cups unless you are using large eggs, or unless there are less amount of cornstarch in your powdered sugar. That depends on the brand you're using, that you might need add a little bit more. Other than that, 2.5 cups is totally and perfectly fine. So you need to have a piping bag and a very simple tip. Even if you don't have a tip, don't worry, you can spoon it out, or you can just simply cut the tip of your piping bag and you get the same exact result. I need my sheet tray covered with parchment paper, and then use a tall glass that you can transfer your batter more easily to your bag. You might think, is that it? Yes, this is it. It's just like, and yet you're gonna be surprised that how much of the pure flavor this very simple almond cookie keeps in every single bite of this. It's a very, very delicious cookie, very simple to make, and as you can tell, the ingredients will do everything. Just that almond powder, or if you're making it with the walnut meal or pistachio meal, those are the flavors you're gonna get. Okay. On your covered sheet tray, you're gonna simply, this is like exactly look like a macaron. Give them like a nice space of like a 2-inch space between each cookie, because they tend to spread a little bit, and that's it. You're gonna pipe them 335 Fahrenheit. You're gonna preheat your oven, and I like to make them like a small size, because I'm gonna make sandwich with them. So we're gonna put chocolate in the between. So the smaller they are, it will be more perfect size when you're gonna serve them. Okay, I have more, but I'm gonna just go with this. How you can garnish the top of this already beautiful little cookies. You can either use a pistachio slivered or a pistachio powder. I'm gonna use both, that you can see, using a little bit of a knife, and just be generous, because they are going to be pretty and delicious. And don't worry about that extra. They will get toasted nice and easy in the oven. Okay, I'm gonna garnish half of my tray like this, and the other half with just a pistachio slivered. Again, I'm just gonna be very generous with those. You can definitely use walnut or any other type of nuts that you like, but I just love to use pistachio because of the that green color versus that white color of almond. It's very fresh and pretty. Okay, My oven is ready. I'm gonna pop this into the oven for, I would just give it 10 minutes and then I will check. I will add more time if I think it needs more. How you know that this is done, the bottom start getting a little bit of a kind of a goldish color, kind of a brown caramel color, and the top is kind of set and you can tell that the cookies are ready. So 10 minutes on 335 Fahrenheit, and then meanwhile I'll show you how you can make that chocolate sauce for the middle. How I'm going to make that chocolate sauce in the middle, it's very, very simple. What you need to do is you need to make some sort of ganache. Ganache, dark chocolate ganache, they come in different recipes, and you can make them using different ratios of the chocolate and the cream. What I use here today is the ratio of a chocolate and the cream that I'm using is exactly 1:1. So for getting this amount of chocolate ganache or chocolate sauce, I used half a cup of heavy cream and the exact same half a cup of a dark chocolate. So for chocolate, the better quality of chocolate you use, you get a better tasting product. You need to use chocolate chip, or you can simply chop up like a bulk of a chocolate. But remember, if you are chopping up your own chocolate, you need to make sure that you don't go very, very thin layer, or you get less amount of what you need. So chocolate chip cookies are, I'm sorry, not cookies, chocolate chips are very perfect for this recipe. What you need to do is you're gonna heat up a half of a cup or 1 cup, or whatever ratio you think you need it. But for this amount, you only need half a cup of a chocolate cream. So you're gonna heat that up, and to the point that it's not boiling. You're gonna stir it, that it won't start boiling, but it's very, very hot enough that it can melt the chocolate. And then you measure again exact same amount that you hit your cream. You measure your cream, let's say half a cup of chocolate chips in a separate bowl, and you're gonna pour over that hot cream on top of your chocolate chips, and then you're gonna let that sit for like 2 minutes or 1.5 minutes. Once the chocolate's kind of getting soft and got melted, you're gonna use a whisker, and you're gonna start whisking, stirring your chocolate and milk together and cream together till it becomes a very, very like soft and like a very kind of a thin chocolate sauce. At that point, you are going to let that sit for, I would say, good 6 hours or 5 hours on the counter. You don't need to put it in a fridge. And once it sits for a while, it will become a thick chocolate ganache like that. Again, it's very simple and it's very delicious. Now you can use this to make those little sandwiches with the ghorabia cookies that they are still in the oven. So you can whip this, or you can just simply use it as is, and I'm gonna just simply use it as is. What you need to do is you need to have another bag. Again, use a little bit of a and transfer your chocolate to the bag. Every time I want to use this recipe, I want to make this recipe, I make my chocolate ganache the night before. It has enough of time to set, and I wouldn't be worried about that chocolate part. And originally, ghorabia doesn't have this chocolate filling into it. It's just like a simple crispy recipe that it tends to be more crispier than what I make it right now. And then it's a little bit chewy, it's kind of gummy, it's caramelly, it's very delicious by itself. But I personally like to add this chocolate and make a little bit sandwich with them to make them even more delicious. So now cut that little tip using the scissor, just a little bit. And your chocolate is ready. I'm waiting for my cookie comes out of the oven, and they need to get cold, and then I'll show you how you can make your little sandwiches with that. Okay, 15 minutes has passed. Yes, I added another 5 minutes to make it nice and gold. And look at that. It's perfect, pretty. It's ready to eat, you guys. It's just like the fact that I'm gonna add that chocolate is one extra step to this beautiful, already delicious cookies. But wait till you add that chocolate. I'll show you how. So first thing first, if you want to make sandwiches with the cookie exactly just like macaroon, you are going to match the sizes together. So this is, you can see this is a little bit nice and gold, and this is what you want to get, specifically if you want to add chocolate to this, because once we put the chocolate in and then we let it mature, meaning that it will sit for another like a good 6 hours, then the chocolate will go inside the cookie and it will moisten the cookie. So this little extra crisp will help a lot to make that perfect texture. So I'm gonna size, meaning that I will make sure that my cookies that I'm gonna make sandwiches with them are in a perfect size. And then I start adding the filling. And this is as simple as that. It's just very flavorful. And these two. Okay. Again, you can definitely serve it like that. But to make a sandwich, you have your chocolate sauce ready, your chocolate ganache ready, and then in the middle of that cookie, you add just a little bit. And you take the matching cookie and you put it and you squeeze a little bit, and voila, just like that. These are ready on a serving plate. And one more. And don't be shy to even dip that on a little extra pistachios that are on that sheet tray. Look at that. Aren't they perfect and pretty and beautiful? And yet I can't emphasize enough that how they taste heavenly. From this point forward, you can let it sit in a room temperature for another, like I would say, 3 or 4 hours. And after that, you need to keep them in a fridge for 1 week, because after that, the chocolate ganache, because it has cream, you need to consume it within a week. This one has a little bit extra. And yeah, continue piping them all. And even right after you add that chocolate filling, these cookies are ready to eat. But because the chocolate hasn't been mature yet, once you start like biting it, so the chocolate will come out, and it's still delicious, but it's not really easy to eat. But if you let these to sit for another 2, 3, 4 hours, then once you start eating them, the chocolate won't come out, and it will be more pleasant to eat. So serving, put them in a bowl or in a plate, and look how perfect and pretty are these little qorabiye. Just like that. Make this, it's very easy. Try it, and it will become one of your permanent items in your kitchen menu. I promise that. Thanks for watching. This is Peyk, and I'll see you soon.